streaming live from the beautiful city of Hollywood, Florida, USA. This is SoFloRadio.com. SoFloRadio.com presents CEOmanship, becoming a leader in today's business world, with your host, Steve Gordon, CEO of Gordon Partnership Group, an international business consulting firm specializing in CEO bootcamp, sales team training, as well as client growth and retention. Visit GordonPartnershipGroup.com. Gordon Partnership Group. Your success is our business. And now, here's your host, Steve Gordon.
Wow. Love that music.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful music.
Here we are, another Monday in South Florida.
It is. It's Monday in South Florida. I was telling our guest it got so cold last night.
How cold was it?
I was able to open my windows. Turn the AC off and open my windows.
Can I tell you that we actually had a fireplace going in our home for the last few days?
We covet. We wait for an excuse to wear a sweater or light a fire in our homes. It's like, woo, it's 60 degrees. I'm going to light a fire.
I know. It's pretty crazy. And, we have been going through, like, monsoon season here, though.
Yes,
Did anyone tell whoever above creates the eco and weather system that this is not summer and we're not supposed to have rain?
I don't know who your weather god is, but I worship Thor, the Thunderer, the Norse.
Well, apparently Thor's doing his job because we're getting a lot of thunder.
Yes, he is. You have to sacrifice a goat, and maybe he'll let off a little bit.
Oh,
I'm making that up.
So you just sacrificed like an entire herd.
Goats. Well, it kind of works in with Santeria. We kind of have a dual service in my family. I'm making all of this up.
You know what? I'm glad you said that because immediately I'm going to start to see texts and tweets, and my people are going to be like, my listeners will be like, "What happened to that really family-oriented business show you run, Steve?"
Yeah, well, right out the window there.
Always is. So, my name is Steve Gordon. You're listening to CEOmanship Radio and Television, coming to you from the SoFlo Radio Studios in Hollywood, Florida. George is pointing to our banner at SoFloRadio.com, where you can listen live to not only our show and a lot of really fun shows, but you also, I realize, you have tons of great local music playing in between the talk shows.
We do have local music. This goes back to when I was on the regular radio. I pay attention to what's going on in the local music scene down here. We have enough angst and drama to generate really good, passionate music in South Florida, as much as anyone else.
Yeah, so and the great thing is nowadays, not only will every streaming app pretty much allow you to listen to SoFlo Radio, but most of the cars allow you to listen to some of the streaming radio. It's built in.
Thank you, Pandora.
Thank you.
That's what people wanted. That's why they put them in the car in the first place.
I love that.
And you can watch live too.
Not when you're driving.
Well, no,
you're not supposed
you
to.
ought not, because then you'll have to stop texting for a while.
That's terrible. I'm sorry for laughing. I'm sorry. So, George.
Steve.
I haven't seen you a little bit, but I understand that you had a birthday.
I had a birthday. I want to thank the wonderful people at Galaxy Skateway. JR surprised me with a party set up. They caught wind that I was going to have a non-party. Just some of the regular skaters and some people that don't go as often as we do. We're just going to get together because they said, "What do you want to do for your birthday?" I said, "I'm going skating. It's my favorite thing to do with my daughter on Sunday as usual." And they had the setup. They got me a cake.
Oh.
It was even the DJ played Happy Birthday over the speakers.
Like the Beatles' Happy Birthday or the kids' Happy Birthday?
No,
or?
the rousing symphonic Happy Birthday. With the band, that kind of thing. Like you play for old people, they know.
Who can't hear very
people.
well. Right.
Sure, and it's very nice of them. Had a wonderful time. I brought for show and tell one of my presents that I got at the skate party. One of my female friends brought me a present, and it's just I got a lot of really wonderful things. But this one is portable, and I think the cutest and funniest.
Don't keep me in suspense.
Ready? Here it is.
What is that?
I know.
I know what it looks like. But
I know. That's what everybody said. What it looks like.
Not for my show.
You beat on something really solid with it, and it lights up. So
I wish that our guests were able to see this right now.
For raves,
but
he will on the video later. It's like, oh, that's what they were beating on the.
Oh, okay.
And that's it. That's what it does. It lights up, and you skate around, and it's like it was my scepter.
It's like the ultimate glow stick. And for those of you who are regular listeners, you understand that the glow stick is what they give away as the prize for the individual child or adult who beats a child Not
The-
beats a child,
right.
but wins the
We
competition
beat
over a child.
children at the roller rink.
Gets a glow stick.
Especially with
And
the-
George's daughter always wins a glow stick because she's a great roller skater.
Not
But
always. Not
almost always.
Right.
And except when you beat her. And then she always comes over and says, "Dad, I got this color glow stick because it's your favorite
Yeah.
color." Does
Not
that make
anymore.
you
We
wanna-
got over that. I told her, just don't take the prize anymore.
Oh.
Thank you for what do you call it? Touting my daughter.
Always. I can't wait to go roller skating with y'all because
I can't wait either. I love showing.
So it wouldn't be a birthday if I didn't bring you something too, and this is actually a gift from Steve and the lovely Lori. Shameless plug. You can find this recipe and many others at simplylorigordon.com. LORIGORDON. Simplylorigordon.com. There's a card in here, so maybe you want to open your gift.
No, thank you so much. Thank you, Lori. She's my favorite person.
You know,
I'm jealous. This is why I envy you.
You're a favorite person.
It's not your good looks. It's not your
It's my good
amazing
wife.
hockey abilities. You're a very lucky man. You won the wife lottery.
Hashtag blessed. Hashtag won the wife lottery for sure.
That's right. You did.
See, our guest should be
She's
saying,
beautiful.
"Wow, that's
she's
good."
sweet. She's a gourmet cook.
Yeah.
Your birthday. Look at this 3D.
It's a 3D card.
3D texture over here.
So what's it say? I didn't,
Happy
I
birthday.
mean, I know.
We hope you enjoy it very much and realize the impact you have on us and so many people. Oh,
Aw,
Facebook
thank you.
is amazing that way. Much love, Steve and Lori. Thank you so much.
You're very
Enjoy
welcome.
every day like
You
it's your
know we
birthday.
do love you.
And the wonderful gift of food.
It is another gift of food. Again, for our new listeners, Lori Gordon is not only a professional marketer. That's really. Should you be making that noise by the microphone?
Yes, but it adds
Okay.
impact.
So-
Also, this is the Foley artist. This is how you do fire.
Oh well. So Lori Gordon is not only does not only run a marketing business, but Lori is a certified holistic health coach. Those, I'm told to tell you, are gluten free, and they were made, of course, by hand this morning. Are they good? Because I didn't even have one. Because I'm trying to go through ketosis, which is why I'm grumpy and cranky. No carbs for Gordo.
You have the little sticks there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
testing the.
Testing the.
Yep. Excellent. How you got purple?
Not
Going
yet.
purple? No.
Going for
All
the
right.
purple. Go purple
I
or
should
go
probably-
home.
I'm not going to eat these in front of you, then. Mr.
So,
Ketosis. I'm sorry.
let
about your
me
headache.
tell you who we have on the show today. Really, really interesting gentleman. Hails from Newfoundland, Canada. And for those of you who don't know, it's like really out there. In fact, it's the only place that's east of the Eastern time zone, I believe,
Yeah.
in North America. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Is that the place that has the half-hour time zone?
Wow, you're pretty smart. You know, I hate when you know everything about nothing.
That's it. Man, I'm a wellspring of trivia, which means it doesn't matter.
You are a plethora of nothing.
Worthless, useless information.
Let me tell you about Walter Pedersen. So Walter is offers a professional and detailed and very attentive experience to his clients. He's a personalized service, and he is a coach not only on internet marketing, but also for network marketers and those who really need to understand how to get traction, not only for their site, but for their business. I can tell you that his it's all about personal service. I mean, I've never met somebody who is all about you. And that's, I mean, even more so than Lori Gordon is about you when we bring food. So I would like to bring onto our video Walter Pedersen from Newfoundland, Canada. Walter, good day. How are you, sir?
Great, Steve. How are you?
I've never been better. Should I say
Sure. You can say A. Why
A.
not? That's what every Canadian says.
I love it.
They do. It's
How's
true.
it going,
It's
eh?
true. I've been to Canada. They all say A.
So I walked into the studio today, and I need to tell our listeners that you and George were having a conversation, maybe in a little bit of the warm-up, making sure that the connection on the video works, and you were talking about back bacon.
I made that up completely just
You did?
for you.
Oh,
Yeah.
you did? I thought, like, no wonder I never heard. So, yeah, no, I love Canadian bacon.
Sure. It fits perfectly on English muffins.
You-
Canadian bacon, English muffins. It's wonderful. Swiss cheese.
Oh,
Yeah,
you are too
yeah.
funny. So, Walter, we get a lot of requests from our listeners who want to know more about things, that term SEO, and ways to get traction for their business, blogs, all the things that you and I have spoken about over the last several days. But before we get into details, because I have a whole bunch of questions that I know our listeners are going to enjoy, tell me, how did you become a coach? How did you learn all of this stuff? What led to? Because if I understand, you actually not that long ago you were in Toronto.
Yes, I was. You know what? First of all, I want to say happy birthday because I really didn't get a chance to say that to you.
I didn't tell you.
Yeah. I heard it. I heard it from a little bird.
Thank you, Walter.
Love it.
Anyhow, yeah. So how I became a coach? Well, what happened is I used to work in Toronto, Ontario, for the Ontario Liquor Board, and I was married for 17 years. And of course, events happened. So I moved here to Newfoundland, and I had an accident when I was working there. I crushed my foot, so I was completely out of work, and that kind of put me on disability. So I was thinking, well, how am I going to make a living now? So I first started off working with Amazon. And that really didn't work out too good because you know what? I was really too green and I really didn't know what I was doing there. So I decided to get myself a coach. And how I came across that is one day I was surfing the web and, I seen this really great guy and he knew what he was talking about. His name is David Boozer. So we kind of connected. So I started talking to him and I wanted to get onto his program because he was an internet marketing coach himself. And of course, a few emails later, we just kept in contact with each other. So he told me the price of this program and what he did and all that stuff. And back then I really didn't have that much money, so I said, well, how can I start a business on my own? And of course, David, he was pretty good about that. He said, you know what? I'll give you free videos. I'll send you free videos on how to get yourself started. And that's really how it all began. Like he just sent me the free videos, and then when I had the money, I sent him money for coaching, and
wow,
and we've been friends ever since. That's
a great story of one of faith and one of trust. So, did you go back to marketing on Amazon, or did you pick something new? And what were you? I don't know if I can ask you this, but what were you marketing on Amazon when you first started, and what do you think were the biggest challenges you faced before you started working with your coach?
Well, through Amazon, I was selling laptop computers, and that's kind of a big market, considering the price of computers nowadays. And I really wasn't getting any sales. And of course, Amazon, they can teach you what to do.
Right.
But I think they were telling me all the wrong things. They were telling me, well, you got to put this ad on your site, you got to put that on your site, and when people look at that, people look at a site with all these different ads on it.
Right.
That kind of just drives them away automatically. Because I guess people feel that it looks too much like a scam.
I agree with you. When I go to a website or a blog, and someone's trying to make a point, but I see like 10 different ads up and down both columns on the left and right side, I kind of feel like, are they trying to get me here to teach me something, and maybe I'll make a buying decision, or are they trying to get me here because they hope that if I leave, at least I'll click something and they'll make a few cents?
Exactly. Yeah, but that's what they were telling me what to do. But then, when I started talking to my coach, he told me really what you want to do is you want to keep your website simple. You want to keep it clean. You want to keep your content up to date, and you don't want to look too. I don't know how you call that. There's a word for it. I guess you want to say needy.
Mm-hmm.
Needy. Yeah. So how I got in internet marketing overall was basically I kind of like what he was doing, and I thought, well, I really don't want to sell products, right? And I don't really have a product to sell, so I'll start a service. So, like I just follow what he was doing, and that's and I loved it. I love it every day.
That's great. So now you're coaching individuals and you're teaching them basically all the things you've learned, not only from your coach, but things you've continued to learn on your own.
Indeed, yeah.
So I noticed that on your website, which is wgp-media.com, I noticed in your blog section, you got quite a few really, really interesting articles. And I thought with a minute, if we had a minute, well, I guess we do because we got a whole hour.
Bunches of minutes.
Bunches of minutes. Don't feel shy to jump in here and ask questions. By the way, George, at any point, you're welcome
okay.
Because I know that
thank
you
you.
are, George, an internet marketing genius.
No, I'm not.
I think our listeners know that. No, but this is a great opportunity for you to ask, Walter, any questions you want. So I noticed recently you created wrote a blog called 5 Strategies on what you call widening your network.
Right.
And so by that, are you talking about to grow your exposure, or what exactly did you mean by that?
Well, 5 strategies to widen your network. So basically, what I was thinking on that blog was what people are doing. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean. Without the content in front of me, it's kind of hard for me to explain it.
Well, that's okay. So one of the things you talked about is it says you can achieve more with others than you can on your own. And it talks about how when you start a business, people are trying to wear multiple hats, but at the same time, you're trying to handle all your business. So I'm guessing that when you talk about achieving more with others, you're talking about sort of sharing the wealth and divide and conquer.
Right. Yeah. Yep. That's basically about it. Yeah. I mean, thanks for reminding me a bit about that blog. Yeah. So what I meant when people have to wear multiple hats sometimes, and so the blog's coming back to me now. So which is good. Anyhow, yeah. What I meant by that is people that go at their business on their own. So like when you're trying to do something on your own,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, you have to wear many different hats because you have to be, manager, you have to be administrative.
And would I be correct in guessing or assuming that maybe that if I'm good at my business, if I start to try to be good at what you do, it's going to take away from what I know. And so, are you trying to say, in a sense, that sometimes you're better off sort of finding someone who's my wife and I in our consulting business, we like to refer to it as best and highest use. So if it means I could hire you to teach me or to help me with the growth of my website and my SEO and all of that, then that frees me up, I'm assuming, to do the things that I need to do that I do best, which is to grow my company.
Well, no, that's not what I was talking about on my blog. Basically, on my blog, I'm talking about people reaching out to other people, to other entrepreneurs, and reach out in their community, because you don't have to, especially for a small business online. You really don't have to do it all on your own. There's other people out there that'll help you out. You can ask questions. You can go on to, I guess, different formats where there's other people that are in the same niche as yours.
I noticed that on your website you have in one of your blogs, which we'll talk about in a little bit, you actually give some lists of different sites where people can go. And so if they go to your site and they start to read some of your blogs, those lists of different sites that you're talking about will give them that information. So we don't have to really bring that off the top of our head. And frankly, since most of the folks are listening on the internet, many are driving, they probably can't write it down, but they can go to pick that stuff up. You also talk about, sort of the quality of our relationships is much more important than the quantity. And I'm thinking that you're talking about how you communicate with, say, your email list.
Yeah, yeah. That's that's basically what I was getting at. Yeah, you don't want to treat your customers like you would treat your email list. Like, you want to treat them with respect.
Right.
Because I mean, that's basically what people want. They want to be treated with respect. It's more about reaching out to your customer and knowing what knowing what to say that they want to hear.
It's true. I'm the kind of person, for example, whether it's I'm a customer via the internet or I'm a customer walking into a brick and mortar store. I'm the type of person, for example, I might walk in to a store and start looking for suits, for example. And I will walk into the men's department. No comments, George. And I'll go out and
I was there
I'll start
today.
browsing, say, a jacket. and it drives me crazy. I know it's their job, but it makes me a little bit crazy when somebody comes up to me immediately like I'm cattle and it's like, how can I help you? And I'm the kind of person, I recognize that somebody is on commission. I don't want to, shoo them away, but I want to be treated sort of with that same respect that you're talking about when you treat contacting your customers online. So I'm real good about saying to somebody, hey, I just need a couple minutes. Here's what I'll do, Walter. When I'm ready, I promise I'll come find you, because I know that you contacted me first. But yeah, it's all about that respect, being made to feel like I'm not being constantly sold something, but having the opportunity to look and generate my own opinion, so to say.
Well, here, I'll tell you exactly the way it is. Okay, when you're an internet marketing coach, you don't go out and you don't approach people that you don't know, and you certainly don't say, well, hey, if you sign up for my mailing list, I'll send you this, I'll send you that. Can you please do that? No,
Right.
no. If people are interested in your business, they will approach you, and that's when you can start, talking about your service. And like on mine, I will offer a free 30-minute consultation.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't really cost them anything. And they can talk about their business, and I can give them a heads up, or I can help them out with that.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's like you wouldn't just walk into some random building and start trying to prospect people for something when you have no idea. Like maybe you sell something that's targeted just at men, but you're in a room full of women. Obviously, you wouldn't want to start just sort of throwing up your opportunity on them or your sales pitch on them, because number one, they're not going to be interested because it's not a product for them, and number two, they didn't ask for it. So
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody is starting to feel that as the internet has evolved over the last decade or two. I think all of us have sort of realized that push mentality is sort of less and less acceptable.
It is.
How do you feel about that, George?
I think I agree with you, Steve. I also don't like it when the guy at the men's department comes jumping on me. But I thought of a question, since because I was looking for some specifics here. So I want to drive more people to my website.
Right.
I don't know anything about search engine optimization. Where should I start?
Okay. Yeah, that's a really good question, actually. So you don't know anything about search engine optimization. Which
no,
is
I just
SEO.
learned what SEO stands for. So
Yeah.
Did you Google
that's where
that
I'm
while
at.
we were talking?
Just now.
Oh, you're such a dweeb.
No.
Right. So basically, I will tell people that is how search engines find your website. They're like little spiders that crawl down, right? Every time that somebody searches for your site or searches for another site, it's like I said, like little spiders that crawl down and search for your website. And the more times that people go to that site, the higher you go in your rank for Google. So you can go up to number one. If more and more people go to your site, then you'll eventually go to number one.
Isn't that sort of like which came first, the chicken or the egg? If more people search, you go up, but if nobody searches, how are they going to find you to search? And I guess that's where you come in, right?
That's about it. Yeah. And of course, That's where my website comes in too. I use WordPress, and I use a plugin called SEO Yoast. So, like when I write out a blog, then, I have to put in my tags and, of course, my keywords and, a description of the blog itself. And with SEO Yoast, what that'll do is it'll give you a list in green dots, yellow, orange, and black dots. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll tell you what you need to do or need to improve your blog so it's green. So once it's all green, then your SEO is good, because that
Wow.
Handy.
That was worth.
Yeah.
That was worth.
That was the price. What's the name of this plugin?
It's called SEO Yoast.
YOST.
Yeah.
There you go, George. Now, of course,
All
you
right.
wouldn't know it's a
Bam.
plug-in, but
Thank you. It was a wonderful show. I'll see you guys later. I gotta go.
yeah, you got to go improve your
Go
SEO.
plug something in.
Okay, so that was an amazing tip and well worth everybody's time. I think that was a great find. So obviously, what does it do? As you change a word or two around, the dots may change in the plugin.
Well, no, it'll give you a list of what you're missing. So if it says you don't have enough words in your blog, or if it's too difficult to read, or if you don't have any alt tags in your images, so all that is important for SEO. Like any time that you put an image in your blog, you have to put the keyword, and it'll say ALT image, right?
Mhm.
Alt image. So you put your keyword in that, and so that ranks you up in SEO as well, and it makes it easier to find.
So I didn't know that about putting a keyword for an image. Somebody once told me that when you add a video to your blog or to your website, that it pays in terms of SEO ranking increase to actually transcribe part or all of the video below the video, so that all of those words get SEO ranked. Is that a good idea?
Yeah. You know what? I suggest to people. Well, this is what David Luther told me. He said that he really gave me a good tip. He said that if you use your blog and a podcast and a video on your website, that's kind of like SEO boom, right? That'll really get you out there. More and more people can discover your website that way.
That's pretty cool, George. We got to get on that.
Well, that's what you do.
Yeah.
Well, I'm, that's why I'm
You
the
got it
host
down.
of the show, and you're still
Right.
producing, George.
That's right.
Yeah, well, it works, right?
So I'm
Because
told.
there's always people on YouTube, and there's always people listening to podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can
And-
subscribe to the channel. They can subscribe to the podcast. They can subscribe to the website itself, and
That's
and
right.
the website updates.
So we have on the line on today's show. Our guest is Walter Pedersen from Newfoundland, Canada. Walter, please stay with us. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, I'm going to have some more questions. And if your answers are anything like SEO Yoast, don't go away, folks, because they're going to be great, and they're going to teach you how to increase your ranking. And if you need coaching, Walter's going to tell you how to do that too. Hang in there, folks. My name is Steve Gordon. You're listening to CEOmanship on SoFlo Television and SoFloRadio.com.
More CEOmanship with Steve Gordon next on SoFloRadio.com.
Put a team of professional consultants behind your home or business computer with Key Information Solutions, providing solutions to your internet and computing needs while keeping you on the cutting edge of technology. Preventative maintenance and networking support, hardware and custom-built computers. Let Key Information Solutions be your personal tech staff for your home or office with affordable hourly, monthly, or annual rates to fit anyone's budget. Call Key Information Solutions now, 954-973-3374. That's 954-973-3374. Or visit keyinformation.com.
broadcast radio production, sound design, audio, talk shows, commercials, trailers, voiceovers, webcasting, engineering, music. Learn how for a lot less than $10,000. Send a text to 954-803-9717. That's 954-803-9717.
This is Philip Simonetta, the real estate king of South Florida. Are you sick and tired of dealing with realtors in flip-flops and shorts who sell homes that have doors and windows? Good, so am I. The Real Estate King of South Florida radio show introduces professionalism, authenticity, structure, and accountability to the real estate industry. So if you're buying, selling, investing, or breathing, don't miss the show.
The Real Estate King of South Florida, Tuesday evenings at 7 on SoFloRadio.com.
Now, back to CEOmanship with Steve Gordon on SoFloRadio.com.
So we're back.
Yes,
And
we are.
our guest is Walter Pedersen. Walter is an internet marketing coach, SEO, just, you know what, a general marketing coach. And it's got some great tips. If you missed the first half hour, make sure to go to CEOmanship.com or SoFloRadio.com to watch the replay, because Walter gave us some really good tips. I would say already enough to make the show worthwhile, but don't go away, because I'm sure we got more coming. So, Walter, oh, you're playing a little Rush.
Little bit of Rush.
I love that. Can you crank that up a little bit?
I don't know if you understand the connection,
Yes,
because I try
Canadian.
to be thematic. Yes,
Geddy Lee.
that's right.
I've seen Rush
Back
probably
Bacon.
a dozen times.
Rush was my first concert, by the way. Here's
Yeah?
George trivia. The first concert I ever paid for, and the last concert I ever paid for. And the first concert I ever went to. In the Hollywood Sportatorium, baby, the big old rust bucket.
Big old Rust Bucket.
Yeah, not
Yes, Geddy Lee and I go back.
there anymore. Yeah, you guys partied?
Well, can't talk about that on the radio.
Okay. You can, but you know,
Yeah, well, not on my
choosing
show.
not to.
So, Walter, we are now in our second half here. One of the things that you also discussed on your website in a recent blog, you talked about 10 what you call productivity hacks for 2016. And one of them is absolutely one of my favorite. You talked about forget Facebook.
Exactly.
Why do you say that? Everybody loves Facebook.
I know. And you know what? It's really a big distraction, because, I mean, people, what they will do is they will get so involved watching videos on Facebook, or they'll start talking to their friends or watching silly videos. And you know what? They're not focusing on what they're doing. So, they're really lacking in their work.
You mentioned in your blog that the average person can get hung up in the web or Facebook for about 30 minutes of each workday. That would really torque my butt if I were the employer.
Oh, I know it would. Yeah, most
30
employers
minutes, that's
don't like that, right?
conservative. I mean, really, you get into an argument with a stranger, you might be there half the day.
Well, George, I don't do that.
You know what I tell people? I'll say, if you really want to focus, forget about Facebook, get rid of your cell phone.
What?
Get rid of, your cell phone. I mean,
Oh, it's
yeah.
attached to me.
Yes,
You'd have to
you know.
surgically. Well, maybe not mine, but Lori's. I think it's surgically. I think somebody sewed it to her hand.
Subdermal cell phone, coming soon. Sign me up.
Did
It's
you
right
know
there.
that the average person texts on their cell phone at least 221 times a day?
Amateurs.
Yeah,
Pikers.
that would be anybody over the age of 50, maybe.
Before
you haven't
9
met my
a.m..
kids, Walter.
I've texted that much
You know?
before my third cup of coffee.
Oh, that's pretty sick, right? You know what?
That's the average. That's the average person on their smartphone.
If they wanted to get rid of texting and driving, all they have to do is go back to the way they sold packages when we first got cell phones.
Oh, yeah.
Whether you had to pay by the text.
Every text costs you a dime.
Dime or a quarter,
The other
right?
day, I went to a red light. There was a woman in front of me driving
Yes.
a BMW. The light turned green, and she went. She wasn't texting or anything. I was just like, I was amazed. I was ready. I was right there. I was right there over the horn. I was getting ready. It was 1001, but it didn't even get to 1000.
Yeah, you know what's crazy?
It's
I
so
don't know
novel.
about where you are up in Newfoundland, Walter, but down here in South Florida, especially during rush hour when the traffic is moving fairly slowly, you can look to your left and your right.
Rush hour.
Everybody is texting.
Is it rush hour? Sorry.
So everybody. So now
Yeah,
I'm getting a phone call.
It's horrible.
It's probably from a listener saying, "No, don't
Probably
go back."
from Lori saying, "What you talking about my cell phone?"
Right. I ain't giving up my cell phone, man. And that's not what I was going to say, but I decided to clean it up. So you talked about ditching the cell phone. You did say that people check their device 221 times a day. The reality is I could see that.
But you know what? I don't know what the laws are like in the U.S., but here in Canada,
You're not allowed to kill people.
It's illegal to drive and text.
Well, here
It
too.
is.
Yeah, it's the problem is there's only one police officer, and he or she cannot pull over the entire moving rush hour on I-95 of thousands and thousands of cars every few feet. So it's like pick and choose. It's just you're the poor sucker that got pulled over. But the truth is they could pull anybody over, and pretty much, they would have a texting and driving case.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about reimagining your inbox too, and I am a huge advocate of this. You talked about not using it for storage. What would you recommend to somebody to sort of declutter their day by decluttering their inbox? Because it's ominous. Sometimes, again, I'm not picking on simply Lori Gordon, but she's got
sounds like you are.
the Uber size web mail account, and it's like every once in a while, like not even that long, I will say your mail's bouncing. It says your box is full, and it's like not even a month, and I'm thinking, well, just delete what you don't need.
You might need that later, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, okay. So George says, well, what if you need that later? So what do you recommend to our listeners who might think they might need something, but you don't, a confused mind takes no action. So what would you do if you weren't sure?
Well, I would suggest setting up a separate file for emails that you might want to keep and emails you want to get rid of. So you can always, I know on Gmail, you can create a new file, and you can name it anything you want. So in this case, we'll name it, unsure, unread email, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they can move all those emails to that one file, and their inbox will still be clear, for important mail, and that'll be completely out of the way for them. And then at their discretion, they just go on there and check it whenever they want.
Amen to that, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I probably have like 25, 30 different folders under my inbox.
Sure.
And because,
Right.
I never know, for example, like I might take a certain bill and put all my, my bills in one case, or maybe if I got a letter from someone I might do business with because I did a mailing campaign and they didn't do business with me, so I might create a folder that says XYZ campaign to follow up. And that's it. And then every once in a while when I have nothing going on, which is never, I go in and I check what's in that little folder.
I have what I think is a good email system. Would you like me to share it?
Go ahead.
I think it's good because I tell people, email me that. My inbox is my to-do list. If I need to have that first email as the worksheet that's to start the dialogue back and forth so that everything is right there. You see the chain, whatever information the other person wants you to have. We create a lot of commercials here, promos and everything here on SoFlo Radio, so that you need to start the dialogue with that. So what I do is first of all, I have a different email for every different thing. Like this, the business email, the personal email, the one I order stuff online with, so that when I look at all my inboxes there, and they're all on Outlook, if I see that there's an email in that particular email, I know what it's about and I know which one's important, like the George at SoFlo Radio, that could be from Steve, etc. So I know which ones to check and which ones not. Flag the ones that are important. I have a saved folder on my local drive. Everything goes into the saved folder. If it's got important information, then I need to save it. My inbox stays clean. I routinely delete. Bam.
Wow,
That's
you're awesome. So let's keep moving forward a little bit because we have so many questions, and now I'm getting some messages even from listeners that are texting in and asking me questions to ask you. So a couple things. Number one, after you published an article, a blog post, for example, I'm moving away from your email now, and we're talking about, again, ways to get eyeballs, as they say, people to look at your content.
All right.
So you mentioned a couple of things. If you could pick a few tips, like after you finish writing an article, what are the first couple of things that you personally do with that blog post?
Basically, is I want to make sure that I have all the 4 C's of content mastered. That's number one.
The 4 C's of content.
Yeah. You want to make sure that it's clear, concise, coherent, and correct. So that
Wow.
you're not looking at funny looking words where, let's say where you'll spell where wrong. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
where and where are 2 different meanings, and they're spelled differently.
Yes, I see that with the word there all the time.
Yeah.
Drives me crazy.
Don't get me started.
Don't get me started.
Communists.
There are here, right? So yeah, you want to make sure that all your content is correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Another thing that I'll check for is I'll make sure that I have good SEO, right? That is that basically you do that before you publish it, but really you want to after you publish, you want to, and you post it out, let's say on Twitter, you want to go back and you want to read it over again and recheck it, because when you basically put content out there, you're putting yourself out there. So you want to shine. You don't want to look foolish in front of other people when they're reading it.
Amen again, brother. I'm with you.
Yeah.
It's too many people. Even with emails, I get emails from people, and I'm like, who taught you grammar? Maybe my mother was just really strict. She would sit there and go, no, spell it again. No, that doesn't go. But yeah, and you know what? There are. How long does it take to go to a website like Grammarly or find a synonym or an antonym or just if you really care about your content, right? Wouldn't you just take a little bit of extra time to not only look at it for things like spelling errors, but maybe to not use the same word 3 sentences in a row? So you go out and you find a synonym for that word. And you change it up a little bit, because your readers are going to go, how am I going to do business with this person? They can't even string together 3 sentences.
Well, what's really good about WordPress is when you're typing out your blog, it has spell check.
Well, I think there's a lot of people that never knew that option existed.
I mean, if you spell something wrong, it'll give you a red line underneath it. And if you right-click, it'll give you the proper enunciation for it.
Interesting. So the other thing you talked about a little bit is that Facebook, even though we said don't use Facebook during the workday because it's a time suck, but you did say that Facebook is a bit more strategic when it comes to publishing, because when you're sharing, right, you're sharing predominantly with people that already love you. That's why they're following you on Facebook.
You know what? I'm not really a big fan on Facebook. I'm really not.
Okay.
I mean, I will post there, because people, they might read. But, I find Facebook more of a personal matter, like where people will go and look pictures of your baby or your garden or whatever. Right. I prefer platforms like Twitter. I use Twitter, Google, LinkedIn. And I find that those platforms are more business-like.
Yeah, I agree. I do personally have a fan page for my corporation, another one that I use for my radio, TV show. And one of the things that I do is, so the people that follow me on those specific fan pages are following me for that reason. So I do personally, since it's only basically the push of a couple buttons, I definitely share my posts on those pages, and I do ask my fans to share them, because I'm trying to get a lot of social acceptance, I guess is a term that people use today, where lots of people are commenting and liking your posts to generate even more attraction.
Yeah.
What you talk about something called automatic pinging, and I don't know what that word means. What does that mean to ping? And then what is the benefit of automatic pinging?
Automatic pinging. That's usually below your blog, and that's below your meta tags and that. There on WordPress you have the option to turn that on or turn that off, but I suggest leaving it on because when people read your postings, they can really it's kind of hard to explain.
Well, if somebody wants to know about that, can they get in touch with you and it'd be something
Sure
you
they
can share
can.
to them one-on-one?
Yeah, I can give you more information on that. Yeah, that's fine. So I'll try to give you a brief abbreviation on that.
Okay, good.
So when people read your blog, it'll ping to other websites. And then it's kind of like sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So in other words, these systems, when you use the term ping, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but what they can do, these are services. You listed about a dozen of them on one of your articles. What I'm guessing is that from the content of what you've written, they can and the meta tags, the keywords that you've used to promote your article or your blog post, will they find other similar sites that might accept that content?
Yeah. I would imagine so. I haven't really experienced that much myself. So I mean, it's kind of hard for me to explain it.
Okay.
But
I know you're
yeah.
just keeping that one a secret for our listeners, so they come and pay you
Sounds like, yeah.
for I get it, but that's okay. I like that.
You know what?
style.
I tell you what. Anybody that wants to know more, they can always contact me. I'll get the information for them. That's fine.
And before we leave, we'll definitely make sure people understand we gave out your website before,
Oh, yeah.
and we'll have your email address again. But it's wgp-media.com. Walter Pedersen up in Newfoundland, Canada. The other thing, so pinging is different than article directory submitters, basically, correct?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So what when you submit through some of these directories, would that be more of the example what I was saying? So these directories know, and there are, I guess, open blogs that allow other people's submissions.
Yeah. You can submit your blogs to directories. I believe there's one called Arctic blog or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways, it's where other people can go in and share your content.
Well, George, now all you got to do is sit down and actually write something.
No, that's why I do talk radio.
Yeah,
I
me
really
too.
don't want to write.
I know.
And by the way, and the content that we create on our shows here, it's not by accident. Not only do I not like to write, but I don't particularly like to read when I can listen and have a dialogue. If given the choice between those two
You are
options.
just like the youth of today.
So therefore, that is why I am in this field and not writing articles and books. It's media, and all media is competing with all other media for the time of the listener to consume it. And you can consume media by reading or watching or listening, and my delivery method of choice is audio. For both delivering and receiving, so that's my bag.
Yeah, the reason that I'm here with you is not just because you're a good-looking, nice guy who really knows how to produce a show, but also
Because I clean shave. I shave really
it is because
smooth. I shave
a
twice.
very good mentor of mine. She's in her 90s. Gosh, I have to call her. Good thing I talked about that. She said to me over and over again, Steve, you have to write a book. If you will generate far, she would say her speaking fees quadrupled the minute she published her first book, even before anybody actually bought it. She was immediately a published author, and that gave her the ability to command about 4 or 5 times
street
more
cred.
Street cred.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I said to her, and this is a little shout out to my adopted grandmother, Cheryl Adams. I said to her, Cheryl, I don't have the patience to write a book. I have a lot of things to say in my head, but I don't have the patience to write a book. So I chose this media. I said I can speak for an hour a week.
Yeah.
But I definitely, and I love to read, but I don't want to sit there and write.
Well, there you go. But you can apply the same logic, because we write show descriptions, which are like teasers, and that that's searchable content. And there's an art to writing, even something as short as that, as a paragraph, to get it to be meaty yet brief, because you don't want to basically transcribe the entire show, but
Walter,
you want to make people want to listen.
Should at the end of each show, when George is submitting the uploads to YouTube and to iTunes and to his website and to my website and eventually your website, he creates a sort of a header for the show. And should he be using either picking certain keywords, or should he even be considering hashtags in that subject matter, or no?
Yes, indeed. Yeah. You want to make sure that you have certain keywords, and that those keywords are relevant to the content. So if you're going to write about your show, you want to make sure you include keywords like SoFlo Radio, or even blogging, whatever. Those are keywords that you want to include in your content.
Is it redundant, the description that we write, and then also, when we post the show on our website, on Steve's website, there's a place to put in tags. On YouTube, when we upload the YouTube video, there's a place for all the tags.
Right.
Is the tagging different from the words that are going in the description? I know that they're both searchable, but is the information that you're putting in the tags section superior? Is that more searchable? What's it better to pay more attention to? The description that's going in that little dialogue box there that explains what the video is, or the tags?
So you're talking about YouTube, right?
Sure,
Yeah,
but I mean, it could be anything, because we have the tagging system.
So I mean, like YouTube will give you the option to put tags in, and I believe that it even has a list of tags that you can use.
Yeah, it gives you suggestions as you start typing.
Right,
certainly.
but you're talking, I think, George, about WordPress.
Well, no, both.
No,
because
I'm talking about YouTube as
when you
well.
create a WordPress post, there is also a place for tags.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So therefore, but there's also a place for description. So the post has both a description and it has a bunch of tags. Is it redundant to have the same language in the description as the tags that you're using? Does it make a difference?
Well, you want to keep it similar, right?
Okay.
Because you want to make sure that the content is searchable.
Okay, so if you put in something like blogging in the description and you put that in the tag also, or as long as you have it in one, does it make a difference?
Well, what I normally do is I put in both.
Okay.
Yeah. So I will write down in the description. I'll write what everyone should do, especially on YouTube, is when they're posting a video and they have a website, they want to make sure they put the name and the website down in the description, and you want to give a brief description of the video itself. And as far as the tags go, you could write, you can use tags like radio or
talk radio, things like that.
Talk radio, whatever, right? Tags like that, and it's relevant to the description and it's relevant to the video.
How fond are you of using services such as Instagram as a way to generate traffic? Are you a big Instagram person, or is that not?
No, I don't use Instagram at all. I don't have a smartphone. That's one thing I don't have.
Well, that's because you said to people, get rid of it.
That's why you get so much done.
Right? Yeah.
We see. At least he listens to his own stuff. So you talked in one final blog, as we're starting to come toward the end of the show, but in one of your final blogs that I read, you talked a little bit about 2 reasons that you might not be getting noticed and you talked about trust and authority.
Right.
What do you recommend people do and maybe not do to develop, to stay out of that trap?
That's a really good question, and I can explain that really well. So basically you want to get started in a business. So you need two things. You need trust and you need authority. So how do you gain that trust? What you do is you get yourself out on social media. Like you want to get yourself out on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and you want to start engaging with people. You want to start building a relationship with them so that people get to know you and you in turn get to know them. So you're actually building trust so people can trust you in social media. And of course, authority, that goes hand in hand with trust. So, after you've gained that trust, after you've been on social media and you've gained relationships with people, then the authority part comes in where, eventually people will come to you as an authoritative figure. So they'll start asking you questions, and problem solving. So when you start helping other people, that are having a problem with their website or they have suggestions on a blog or whatever, right? And you can give them correct answers. I mean, quality answers. That's when you start building that authority. So, that's what I tell everyone. To really get yourself started, those are two steps that are key that you really need. And that's trust and authority. And once you have that mastered, you're well on your way to being, successful.
Well, speaking of being successful, let me ask you this. You mentioned earlier that you would offer our listeners and those maybe who even listen in the future the opportunity to have a 30-minute consultation with you. If they're looking to increase their visibility online, they need to understand a little bit more about what it takes to grow their presence, their trust, their authority. So how can somebody reach you to arrange for that consultation?
Well, they can reach me two ways. They can add me to Google, or they can add me on Twitter. And my Twitter handle is Walter, at Walter7110. They can add me there. Or they can send me an email at wgp.7110@gmail.com.
Okay. Well, Walter, you've given us a lot of information. I think there were a lot of things here that I took as takeaways. I know, George, you were taking notes. I saw you writing.
Yes, indeed.
Just like tirelessly on your notepad, as you always do.
Plugging things into my website as soon as I'm done posting.
I love it. SEO Yoast and a lot of other things.
Sure.
Walter, thank you for joining us today. You've been a great guest, and I know that you're going to get great feedback from our listeners. And please, as a listener of CEOmanship Radio and Television, take advantage of the opportunity to speak with someone like Walter, who is very generously given his time today to help all of us to grow our businesses. George.
Steve.
It's another Monday.
Yes, indeed.
Done and dusted, as my friends of the UK say. And I wish you a great week.
I just want to throw one more thing in there before we go. I want to apologize to the people who are listening. If I haven't had any information that wasn't useful to you, or if you have any more questions, feel free to contact me, and I will get you the correct information.
I happy that you said that. I know that our listeners definitely took something away for sure. But if you have any questions for Walter, please reach him by email.
We'll put it on the show description.
We'll put it on the show description. George,
Steve,
it's been another week, another great week.
Thank you, Lori.
For the cookies.
Cookies.
Right. # yum. There you go. Anyway, I will be back. You're listening to Steve Gordon on CEOmanship Radio and Television on SoFloRadio.com.
You're listening to SoFloRadio.com.